I still remember my mother telling me and my brothers to wash our hands before coming to the table. And she would reinforce her advice with a little religious guilt. It's all good mothers do. And say, boys, remember that cleanliness is next to godliness. And of course, we were usually too hungry to take time to wash our hands. We were sure that a little dirt was not going to hurt us. Besides, we wanted to, push back against our mother. We were always, testing her authority and asserting our independence. And the older we got, the more we wanted to have the last word. We were sure we knew what was right and what was wrong. In today's gospel, Jesus' disciples are criticized for similar behavior. The Pharisees and scribes, they took their religion seriously. They believed that their religion should affect every aspect of their lives. They were the experts on how the law of God should govern even the simplest details of life, even the details of washing your hands before you eat. Washing your hands before eating not only was good hygiene, it was also a way to recognize that all of life belonged to God. I mean, if you were going to honor God and be part of the Jewish community, and these guys were experts in doing that, then you needed to follow the rules and the tradition of the elders. You needed to wash your hands before eating because, yes, remember, cleanliness is next to godliness. Then along comes Jesus, who seems to care less about keeping the rules and following the tradition of the elders. Jesus heals on the Sabbath. In the name of God, he hangs out with rule breakers, the tax collectors, the thieves, and the ladies of the evening. His disciples engage in the same kind of unruly behavior. Today's gospel reports that disciples were eating with defiled hands. God forbid. They were not properly washing them before dinner. And not only was such behavior deemed unsafe, it disrespected the very thing that defined them as a people of the law. Jesus and his disciples, are deliberately thumbing your nose at the idea that cleanliness was next to godliness. What's wrong with you? Today, we might find such concerns silly. This obsession with what is clean and unclean, defiled and undefiled, is irrelevant in our modern world. What is it? The current debate raging in our country about immigration is really about the rules. What are the rules and boundaries that will define our nation? Without boundaries, we do not know who belongs and who does not. And where we draw those boundaries is what divides us and creates all the controversy. It's all about the rules. And yes, as all of us Packer and Colts fans know, the NFL is about to start another season under new rules for kickoffs. Oh, and you better know the rules. I mean, These kickoffs are due. Very different. And without the rules, oh, it will be a mess. No wonder the Pharisees and scribes are disturbed. No wonder they asked Jesus, why do your disciples not live according to the tradition of the elders, but eat with defiled hands? Jesus and his disciples' behavior threatened the boundaries of their community and the very center of their religious faith. The rules. But Jesus did not worry about being politically correct or tolerant or even polite. Because Jesus, you see, is a sworn enemy of lying, pomposity, smugness, and groupthink. He swings a wrecking ball. He unloads both barrels. The Pharisees and scribes may have appeared to be paragons of virtue. They were admired for their knowledge of the law and their commitment to live to it. They not only talked the talk, but walked the walk. Yet, somehow, Jesus calls them hypocrites. They are not what they appear to be. Oh, they may have been awarded the Sagamore of the Wabash or the Citizen of the Year. But Jesus says it is all a sham. It is all a cover-up because hiding beneath all the rules, the washing of cups and pots and bronze kettles and hands is a dirty heart. Jesus turns the apple cart upside down and inside out. Oh, I know. We are impressed with religion, that we can see, measure, and count. Oh, I know. We are all tempted to think that churches are successful when they can, what do we say? Count the butts in the pew and the bucks in the plate. We ask each other, how many do you worship at your church on Sunday? Forgetting, folks, we worship God, not the people in the pew. Oh, we are quick to welcome people like us and only are really interested in talking with those who share our interests. But we are upset with change and complain, uttering the 7 last words of the church. Remember, Jesus spoke 7 last words from the cross when he was dying. Well, there are 7 last words that every church speaks when it's dying. And far too many always say this. 7 words. We never did it this way before. We fiddle while Rome burns. We shuffle the deck chairs on the Titanic. We whistle Dixie while the ground crumbles beneath us. We cover the rust with a new coat of paint. We slap wallpaper over the cracks and delude ourselves into thinking that all is well. Like a fire alarm waking us up in the middle of the night, Jesus says, listen to me, all of you, and understand there is nothing outside a person that by going in can defile, but it is the things that come out from the inside what defile. For it is truly from within, from the inside, from the human heart, that evil intentions come. Oh, and then we hear that familiar boast. I think we've all heard it. I am not proud. Pride is a fault, and I have no faults. And the very pride we think we can hide is revealed. Jesus blows up such pretense and rejects such a religion. No wonder the early Christians were accused of being atheists. In a sense, they were atheists because all the religions in that world, including the religion of the Pharisees and the scribes, are based on the conviction that if I only work hard enough, if I try hard enough, if I pray enough, if I give enough, if I love enough, if I am clean enough, if I wash my hands enough, then God, or whoever or whatever is your God, whoever or whatever you get up in the morning to serve, then I can't be sure. Then I can't belong. Then I know I'm in. And Jesus will have nothing to do with religion like that. Religion like that is from a heart that's in love with itself more than it trusts God. All of the religious programs designed to help us grow closer to God still leave us in charge. It's still up to us. And we still want to know. Tell me, please. Tell me. What must I do? And we are frustrated because whatever we are told, we never know when we have done enough. And that's exhausting. No one talks like Jesus. No one completely rejects our attempts to be good. If religion promotes the belief that our cleanliness somehow gets us closer to godliness, then Jesus is against such religion. Jesus is against that kind of cleanliness. So what? So what if our hands are clean? We will still have hearts that want to be in charge and play God. No 12-step program, behavior modification, educational strategy, or psychological therapy is going to change the human heart. Well, my brothers and I may have given in and washed our hands, but it was not because we loved God or loved our neighbor. We resented it. We resisted. We conformed. We obeyed because we were hungry and wanted to eat. But in our hearts, we were the same old selfish brats, still looking out for ourselves. This is a bleak picture, folks. Is there any good news here? In today's gospel, we do not meet gentle Jesus, meek and mild. We meet Jesus, the fiery prophet, the scathing truth teller, the no-nonsense, honest-to-God master who will not put up with pretense or hypocrisy. The Pharisees, the scribes, and all of us well-meaning, good-intentioned, God-fearing religious people want to know what in the world gives Jesus the right to do this. I mean, Jesus, who do you think you are? Disregarding the rules like this, letting your disciples eat without washing their hands, welcoming people whose lives are a mess and cannot get their act together, and turning on good people like us who put our butts in the pew and our bucks in the plate. Who do you think you are, Jesus? God? Or something? That is exactly who Jesus claims to be. And that is why we, along with the Pharisees and the scribes of this world, crucified him. Jesus deserved to die for daring to thumb his nose at our religion and all of our attempts to be good. The human heart cannot possibly be that evil. The human plight cannot possibly be that hopeless. Sin cannot possibly be that bad. And God cannot be that angry. So, we kicked Jesus out. He died on the cross as an outsider, a sinner who did not keep the rules. He was dirty and bleeding and defiled. And when he died, Pharisees, scribes, and all of the good people of this world breathed a sigh of relief. See, Jesus was wrong. We were right. The rules count. But, yes, the but always comes. But then on the third day, Jesus rose from the dead. Uh-oh, he really was God. Uh-oh, we are in trouble. Uh-oh, what will we do? Uh-oh, we're going to have to die for this. The cleanliness that we thought was next to godliness is actually defiled and dirty. The religion we thought was blessed is actually cursed. And just when we are ready to throw up our hands in despair, we see and hear of the strangely wonderful twist in all of this. For surprisingly, it is through such dying that we, like Jesus, will live. Because Jesus is risen, Jesus is right. And that, folks, is good news for sinners like us who have been hiding our wicked and hypocritical hearts behind those cleanly washed hands. Caught, so to speak, with our pants down, exposed for not being what we pretended to be. We can tell the truth, just like we did here at the start of the service, and stop working so hard to cover up the lie. We can let go of the pretense. Our clean hands, our clean houses, our clean records that were only a thin coat of paint slapped over rust and decay. And instead, we cling to Jesus. For Jesus forgives us, frees us from always having to worry about what we are not. We do not have to try to be good. We do not have to worry about following the rules and keeping our hands clean. Instead, we are free to get our hands dirty, helping and serving in our families, in our neighborhoods, in the places of our daily work, which we will be remembering this weekend, this Labor Day weekend, the sanctity of our work. And next Sunday, God's work, our hands. Yes. Is cleanliness next to godliness? Yes, if Christ is our cleanliness, then we are godly. And the good news is that we are. So we can get our hands dirty serving the world. You know, who cares what the rest of the world thinks of us? We know what God thinks of us. And that's all that matters. Wow. And for that, what can we say? You all know the words. Thanks be to God.